Hello and welcome to Draw My Life. This is a story about me and my friend Tiffany. I have so many memories of Tiffany, but I'm going to just go over the highlights. I was born in Akron General Hospital one day, and my mom, after a long and hard delivery, gave birth to me, and I was 9 pounds and something. And she remembers when the nurse brought me in to see her that I had this receiving blanket on, and somehow the receiving blanket opened and I had these long arms just sort of flopping about. They rushed my mom back to surgery because she wasn't feeling right, and here they found that she was hemorrhaging pretty bad. So this is how I came to be, and they fixed that and she was okay. My mom and dad were wondering what they should name me, and they thought long and hard actually about naming me Tiffany, but they thought that maybe nobody else had used that name yet, so they decided to name me Angela instead. But 2 months later, less than a mile away around the block, Fred and Mary Gosser had this beautiful baby girl, and they named her Tiffany, and my parents were like, wow, we almost named our daughter Tiffany. Now, I don't remember how we met, Tiffany and I just don't even remember not knowing her, but it was probably in preschool, Sunday school. I think we had Liz as our teacher, and we must have met each other then, is what I'm thinking. You can correct me if I'm wrong, but we loved to play together, and we'd go over to each other's houses. And I remember Tiffany's house was always so sunny and peaceful, and it always smelled like peaches, and I just loved going there, and we loved playing together. And we loved playing together at church too. Our shoes used to clack on the hard floors in the cafeteria. We used to hide in the pie room. We used to hide in those big cupboards where they kept the cups in the kitchen. And I loved to go to her house, and we used to run away from her little brothers. We thought that was hilarious and so much fun because they couldn't keep up with us, and they would be so upset, and we'd hide from them, and we thought it was funny, but it wasn't long before they could outrun us. I think they had chickens, and we loved to play in the barn together. One day, Tiffany and I were up in the swing set that her dad had built for the kids, and Tiffany was musing, and she said, I wonder how we always knew each other. Do you think we dreamed about each other when we were babies? And I thought that was so sweet, and I remember that till this day, how sweet that was. Finally, we were going to go to kindergarten together, and we rode the same bus, and it was so much fun, and I'd love to go to kindergarten because we played all day. And one time I was sick and I couldn't go to kindergarten, and when the bus went by, I cried and cried at the window because I wanted to go to school so bad. And Tiffany had this red TLC canvas bag with her initials TLG on the front, and the handles were rainbow, and she always had that bag, and it was really cool. In first grade, Tiffany and I got separated. She went to Mrs. Grubb's class, and I went to Mrs. Lang's class, and I cried every single day, and I would never eat my lunch. But at least we got to see each other at recess. So we always very much looked forward to recess. And Tiffany and mine and Cheryl's favorite thing to do at recess was play jump rope. So whenever we can get together and do that, we would get a whole group of people and we would play jump rope, and it was the best thing in the whole world. Sometimes kids would pick on Tiffany, and it really hurt her feelings, and I remember that used to make me so mad. And one day we were on the bus, and this little boy named Steve Orr was picking on her, and he was always pick on her so bad. And then one day we pulverized his lunch. We took his lunch, it was in a brown paper bag, and we smashed it to smithereens. It was just crumbs when it was over, and we got in so much trouble for smashing that kid's lunch. Sorry, Steve. But we got to be in Sunday school as well, and we were just a little bit older now. and we would have men for teachers. We had 2 men that were teachers, and one day they asked all of us kids, they said, how do you think Jesus was able to perform all those miracles? And nobody said anything, and we just sat there. And finally, Tiffany spoke up, and she said, well, because he was magical. And I just remember how cute that was. Even that age, I thought that was so sweet. One day, things got pretty bad at my home, and we had to leave for a couple years. And I remember when I got back, we were about in 8th grade, and I just couldn't get myself together. I still can't really, but it was pretty bad. And she used to play the trumpet, and she would have this huge trumpet case that she would have to lug on and off the bus. And she was good in the band, and she really enjoyed that. But I was always I wasn't a good student, and she would help me with my homework, and she would help me with my math, and I never had enough lunch money, and she would give me dimes and give me nickels, and she would say, oh, Angie, what's a dime? What's a nickel? And she never complained about it, and she was just so good. And I still couldn't get it together by the time I was in high school, and I couldn't make the bus on time. And I would always call Fred whenever I missed the bus or I couldn't make it to school, and I would say, Fred, I missed the bus. And this is Fred without his contacts in or his hair combed, apparently, because it was early in the morning. And he would always say, oh, yes, I will be right there. I'll be right there. And he always came, and they just never, they just are always right there. And I still couldn't get it together one day, and I called to see if Fred was there to take me to school, and he wasn't available. So Tiffany's little brother had to take me to school one day, and I just remember feeling so embarrassed. And then I got 2 detentions finally for being late all the time, and hopefully that taught me my lesson. And Tiffany finally, she got a car, and she took the 2 of us to school. Me and Cheryl and Tiffany would ride together. Tiffany would drive her car through the snow, and she would get us there on time, and she was so great about it. And she was always so happy to do things like that. It just made her happy. So thank you, Fred and Tiffany and Ryan, for taking us to school. Finally, the big day came when we were going to graduate from high school. It was such a big day and such a great day. And Tiffany got all these awards, and she got all these honors. She had worked so hard to get where she was, and she was so good at everything she put her mind to. And I was just happy to graduate. And after graduation, I moved down to Sardis. I got married and moved to Sardis after a while, and she went up to Toledo to study to be an occupational therapist, and I was always so impressed with her. And we never got to really see each other very much after that. But one day she did come to Sardis to visit, and she said she was pretty car sick when she got there. And I said, oh no, did you come on Route 536? And she said, oh no, we were late. We got here at about 6:15. And we laughed about that for a long time. And then Tiffany got married too, and she married a very nice man named Steve. And they're very happy, and they had 4 children together. They had Alexa and Gabe, Austin, and Brennan. And they were just a beautiful family, and it was so good to always see them. Once in a while I would see her, and we would catch up on old times, but it wasn't long enough. And finally we got to go to our 20th high school reunion together. It was the first time we decided to go to a high school reunion, and we had a blast. And Tiffany was expecting her youngest son, Brennan, at the time. And we laughed so much and we had a good time, and I'm so glad we went and we got to spend a little bit of time together. But it wasn't long after our high school reunion that Tiffany had fell on hard times and she got sick. And it was so scary and it was so sad that she had to suffer. And the last thing that she ever said to me was that we love prayers and we love you. And the last thing I said to her was that I loved her. And I'm so glad that those were our last words together. Sometimes God asks us to do things that seem nearly impossible, or they seem beyond our strength. And one night, God took Tiffany home to be with Jesus. And the angels carried her home. And that was probably the saddest night of my life. And it was the saddest night of all of our lives that knew her. And the last day I saw her, I felt just such a hole in my heart, such an emptiness in my heart. And I ran back to the place she was laying after everybody left and said, "May I please have a flower? I won't be right if I don't get a flower." So I pressed one in my Bible, and it gave me such comfort. And she was the best friend, the best daughter, the best niece, the best cousin, the best wife, the best mother that I think we could have been gifted to have. And I am so thankful that I got to spend some of my life with her, and she's influenced me so much, and she's touched me so much, and it just seems to me that not a day goes by since we graduated that I didn't think about her and, oh, Tiffany would have thought that was funny, or we would have laughed at this or that, or remember when Tiffany did this or that. And I know we're going to see her again someday, and we can all put ourselves in the shoes of the person standing beside her. What a wonderful day that's going to be. I don't remember one day that Tiffany didn't have faith in Jesus. Even when we were small children, she had faith in Jesus. This is only the beginning. And if we put our faith in Jesus too, we are going to have such a happy reunion that it's never going to end. And there's never going to be any more tears or sorrows. And I can hardly wait for the day it just gets sweeter and sweeter and sweeter. Thank you for watching, and God bless you.